Hey guys, this is Marian from Asian Drama Reviews, and I'm here to give a review on one of my most favorite Korean dramas, Iljimae. I won't go over the whole story since you have probably already watched it. Instead, I will only point out my favorite parts and discuss some issues I've read online regarding the drama. Okay, so first I would like to point out how a lot of characters had multiple identities and/or personalities in this series. I really liked how this was used to show the development of characters. For example, Gaum started out as the son of a nobleman, then went to being a poor peasant boy, then to a lazy bum, followed by being a gang member, only to end up as the national hero Iljimae. Also, Jadol originally was a peasant boy, then became a noble, although he was looked down upon. This urged him to constantly prove himself, thus he became a soldier. However, in the end of the drama, we see him in peace with himself, as he finally found his calling as a teacher. Another example would be Kong Hee. He started out as a cruel assassin but couldn't bear the thought of killing innocent women and children, thus he became a fugitive, and later he also took up the role of being a father when he decided to raise up Bongsun. His other identity is the swindler, and I think the parts where he pretended to be a monk were hilarious. Finally, he also acted as a mentor when he taught Young how to fight. These are just a few examples how the characters were very well developed. And the other thing I really liked is that there were a lot of small but nonetheless important characters which added a lot of fun to the plot. In historical dramas, usually there are a lot of side characters, but they tend to be a bit boring or insignificant. However, in Iljimae, these small characters are the source of comic relief. For example, the hunter and his son, or Hee-bong, the gang leader, or even Shiwan. The second thing I really liked about this drama is actually the whole plot. The storyline was really neatly woven. Originally, the drama seemed like a good old-fashioned revenge story, but in the end, it changed its course and focused on helping those in need. So basically, the drama changed as Gaum's character developed. The other thing I liked is how funny moments alternated with serious ones. This way, the series wasn't too heavy and unwatchable. Personally, I don't like dramas which exaggerate and focus only on sad things. The third thing I really loved about this drama is the role of fate in it. You know how there is a saying that fate can be cruel? Well, in this drama there were a lot of examples of that. Just to list a few, it was really unfortunate how Bongsun was actually the daughter of the blind fortune teller, or how Jadol was forced to frame his real father, which ultimately led to his murder, or how Gaum and Jadol were constantly fighting with each other, well, except for the very beginning and ending of the drama. Oh, and another example would be how Jadol/Shiho thought his love for Eunchae was forbidden since he thought they were siblings. What I really like though is how this whole thing was emphasized. There were a lot of beautiful scenes like when Eunchae tended to Shiho's wounds both in the past and later when they were all grown up, or how Gaum and Eunchae were shown sitting on the tree both in the past and the present, or how the connection between Gaum and Bongsun was shown by the hand-holding scenes. There were a lot of scenes which I liked. Here I just would like to point out my most favorite ones. The first, I guess, is when young Gaum and Eunchae first met. That scene was just so beautiful and heartwarming. It was really obvious how they connected with each other. I think the child actors were simply amazing, and the little girl who played the younger version of Eunchae was so adorable. The next scene would have to be the one where Shiho used paper lamps to light up the way to home for Eunchae. I loved how the scene started out all suspicious with the dark pathway and the mysterious person holding up a bow and an arrow, only to turn out to be Shiho. This scene really captures the tender love that Shiho has for Eunchae and also shows how hopeless this love is. It was very uplifting and sad at the same time. Finally, the scene I liked the most is when Shiho and Young fight against each other in the ring. Don't get me wrong, I'm not really fond of bloodbaths. The reason why I liked this scene was because it showed how the boys were very alike deep down inside. They both would have done anything to save the ones they love, in this case their stepfather, Svedol. Also, it was very tragic to see Danny being torn between his two sons. Of course, Young is not his real son, but she really loved him nonetheless. She was just afraid to admit it even to herself. On another note, this scene was really important because the heavy blows Gaum received during the fight led him to remember the past and ultimately put him on his path to become Iljimae. Now, to address some of the complaints that I have read online regarding this drama. Some were saying that the scenes in the beginning of the very first episode were way too unrealistic. How Iljimae used an invisibility cloak or how he used some sort of explosive to break into a building. I admit that the invisibility cloak was a bit too much. Even I laughed out loud at that scene and immediately thought of the Harry Potter books. However, it didn't bother me at all because I think this drama never took itself too seriously regarding the technical and graphical elements. Remember how the little bird was a very bad CGI job? I don't think it was because they couldn't have done a better animation, it's just that it wasn't important to them. I mean, let's face it, in real life a wild bird would never sit in one's lap, so there is no point in spending a lot of money on effects, right? Another thing that people thought was a bit off is how Young became a criminal mastermind and miraculously turned into a smart guy from one day to the other. Well, this can be very easily explained. Remember that even as a small kid, Gaon was really smart. He used a very clever and practical method to defend Jadol when he was accused of theft. Also, there was never a hint in the drama that implied Young was actually stupid. He just pretended to be dumb in order to get away with things. Finally, a lot of people said that they didn't like the drama because the romantic aspect of the story was lacking. This never bothered me because I think the main focus of the drama was not the romantic thread. Also, I think it was great how in the end neither Young nor Shiho got to end up with Unche. Sure, it was a bit sad, but think about it. Wouldn't it be worse if the brothers kept on fighting because of her? Actually, I have one regret about this drama. It is how Bongso never got a happy ending. She seemed really lonely in the end. The others at least got some purpose in life, but she seemingly didn't even reconcile with his stepfather. And now we have arrived to the big question of the drama, which is Young dead? Well, I agree with those who say that he is in fact alive. Here I would like to list a couple of things for why I think he's alive. First of all, the whole drama starts with Young planning out his next robbery, and remember how each of his friends were sitting there with him? Clearly, they have already known about the identity of Iljimae at that point, so this must have happened after the whole drama took place. Secondly, it is clearly shown that Young is cut by his own blade, which he received from Konkei. Remember how he was complaining that it was blunt, and then Konkei told him it is not for killing but for defending. Thirdly, Konkei received 2 pairs of shoes. One was clearly for him, judging by the size of it. The other one, however, was meant for Young. Now, some were arguing that it could be for Bongsun, but since the shoes were the same style, plain and black, we can safely assume that they were men's shoes. Well, these are the reasons why I think that Gaom is still alive. I hope you like this review, and I would love to hear your thoughts on the drama, so feel free to comment. Thanks for watching, bye!